Today we have a reading from the Jesus Storybook Bible by Sally Lloyd Jones. This is for our kids, whether actually a child or a child at heart. The reading today is entitled "The Sun Stops Shining," and in real time this would take place the Friday before Easter at about 9 in the morning. "So you're a king, are you?" the Roman soldiers jeered. "Then you'll need a crown and a robe." They gave Jesus a crown made of thorns and put a purple robe on him and pretended to bow down to him. "Your Majesty," they said. Then they whipped him and spit on him. They didn't understand that this was the Prince of Life, the King of heaven and earth, the King who had come to rescue them. The soldiers made a sign, "Our King," and nailed it to a wooden cross. They walked up a hill outside the city. Jesus carried the cross on his back. Jesus had never done anything wrong, but they were going to kill him the way criminals were killed. They nailed Jesus to the cross. "Father, forgive them," Jesus gasped. "They don't understand what they're doing." "You say you've come to rescue us," people shouted, "but you can't even rescue yourself." But they were wrong. Jesus could have rescued himself. A legion of angels could have flown to his side if he'd called. "If you really are the Son of God, you could just climb off the cross," they said. And of course they were right. Jesus could have just climbed down. Actually, he could have just said a word and made it all stop. Like when he healed the little girl and stilled the storm and fed the 5,000. But Jesus stayed. You see, they didn't understand it wasn't the nails that kept Jesus there, it was love. "Papa," Jesus cried frantically, searching at the sky. "Papa, where are you? Don't you leave me." And for the first time and the last, when Jesus spoke, nothing happened. Just a horrible, endless silence. God didn't answer. He turned away from his boy. Tears rolled down Jesus' face. The face of the one who would wipe away every tear from every eye cried. Even though it was midday, a dreadful darkness covered the face of the world. The sun could not shine, and the earth trembled and quaked. The great mountains shook, and rocks split in two, until it seemed as though the whole world would break, that creation itself would tear apart. The full force of the storm of God's fierce anger at sin was coming down, but coming down on his own Son instead of on his people. It was the only way God could destroy sin and not destroy his children whose hearts were filled with sin. Then Jesus shouted out in a loud voice, "It is finished." And it was. Jesus had done it. Jesus had rescued the whole world. "Father," Jesus cried, "I give you my life." And with a great sigh, he let himself die. Strange clouds like shadows filled the sky, purple, orange, and black, like a bruise. Jesus' friends gently carried Jesus away, and they laid Jesus in a new tomb carved out of a rock. How could Jesus die? What had gone wrong? What does it mean? They didn't know anything anymore, except they did know that their hearts were breaking. "That's the end of Jesus," the leader said. But just to be sure, they sent strong soldiers to guard the tomb, and they hauled a huge stone in front of the door to the tomb so that no one could get in or out. That completes our reading. If you'd like, you can check our Facebook post and you can find a few questions and you can ask them with your children and discuss them together. Thanks for listening.